Welcome back. Could you hear my head hitting the microphone there? Okay, good. Welcome back here to the Patrick Regan Show. Let's get professional now. You're on the Libertarian Lighthouse Radio Network and News Talk 98.7 WOKI. Coming back into another huge hour of action-packed and exciting radio. Oh, righty. I listened to a number of talk shows during the week from both sides of the ideological divide, but I want to comment a little bit on what I've been hearing on the conservative ones lately. They have been devoting, especially here recently, a ton of airtime talking about the minute details of Obamacare and how this or that piece of it is bad, but how most Americans don't like this or that little part of it. Every one of these hosts are missing the big picture. Obamacare is not only unconstitutional, it isn't the right thing to do. Obamacare is forcing one American citizen to pay the bills of another. How is that the right thing to do? These people are wasting hours and hours of airtime talking about all this. Is it because they don't have anything else to talk about? Can they not prepare a good show instead of blowing all this time talking about something we shouldn't be doing in the first place? Instead of trying to decide which part isn't fair, we need to repeal the whole dang thing instead of wasting everyone's time on the details. These people need to be extolling their audience to, like we do here on this show. You need to call your congressional representative. Tell them to get rid of this legislation. And don't listen to these spineless people in Washington tell you there isn't anything that can be done. Yes, there is. If enough people are flooding Congress with calls, believe me, they'll do something about it. If they think they might lose the next election, they'll vote how you want them to. The key is generating enough calls to get that message across. Look, Congress can vote to stop all of this tomorrow if they wanted to do so. Even the most diehard liberal will vote to do away with Obamacare if you can generate enough calls to their offices. They want to be in office more than they want to make an ideological point. Most of them do anyway. All these excuses you hear out of the Republican side, all this, oh, we can't do anything about it, that's bull. The reason you only see these little displays of votes against Obamacare is so they'll have something to run on at the next election. If these people are really against it, they'd be making speech after speech on television and in person. That's all we'd hear about, how Obamacare is unconstitutional, if that's what they really wanted to do. But they don't. Here's the little secret in Washington. All these people want government involved in medical care. Just listen to what the conservatives say. They'll say we need to repeal and replace. That's what Romney preached all during his presidential campaign. I played clip after him saying that. And not just him, no. Listen to any of these Republicans. They'll tell you how their plan is better than the Democrat one. Hey, neither plan is right because neither plan is constitutional. Forcing one American to pay the bills of another is not right. I don't care how you frame it. This is why we argue against any and all types of governmental aid. All of it. All of this is the forced taking of money from one citizen and giving it to another in the form of charity. How can anyone make the argument that that is the right thing to do? Well, Patrick, we have to take care of other people. No, we don't. Show me in the Constitution where it states that me, citizen of the United States, Patrick Riggins, must care for another person, that I have to pay the bills of another citizen. It's not in there because our founders believed in individuals caring for themselves. Now, from a moral point of view, yes, you should help those who cannot help themselves. Not those who choose not to work, not those who want to live off the system, but those who are truly at the mercy of everyone else. Now, those people are such a small percentage of the overall number of people getting government aid. It wouldn't even show up in the numbers. There are not that many people who are truly needy in this country. But we have a whole lot of people who are willing to let others carry them. But again, that's a moral obligation, not a legal one, not one the government should be forcing you to participate in. But participate you do, because if you don't, if you refuse to pay for that sort of thing, well, then they'll take away your property and your freedom if necessary, all in the name of, quote, helping others, unquote. Speaking of Obama, there's been a lot of hay made this week when a poll came out announcing that 62% of Americans disapprove of how Obama is handling the economy. Now, I've listened to the liberal commentators and pundits discount the number, saying the poll really didn't mean anything. And I've listened to conservative radio and television show hosts crowing about how this just shows how incompetent Obama is in economic affairs and how his administration is failing the American people. And, you know, this is why you listen to this show right here, because neither of these two sides have it correct. Neither side sees the problem here. The reason is because neither side is looking at this problem from the perspective of an American. They're looking at it from the angle of a liberal American or a conservative American, but neither side looks at it from the angle of a true American, because neither side is truly American. They only fight for what's good for their side, not for what's good for the country, not for freedom and liberty. They fight to get the advantage over the other side so their side can win. Whether that's good for the country or not is irrelevant. They just don't care. I made note of this last week. It's like two lawyers fighting in a courtroom trying to get a win for their side. Justice is just a side note. If justice is served, well, okay, that's nice, but the real goal is for my side to win. Same thing with these political parties, these liberals and conservatives. If what they're fighting for just happens to be good for the country too, oh, well, that's good. But if it isn't, it really doesn't matter as long as their side wins. So this poll came out, though, with 62% of Americans disapproving of Obama's handling of the economy, and both sides are trying to use it to their advantage when neither side is working for the good of the country. The truth of the matter is the president and the government should not be interfering with the economy to begin with. The poll should be that 100% of Americans disapprove of the government, let alone the president, sticking their noses into the private business of American citizens. The government should have nothing to do with the economy. It shouldn't be trying to regulate interest rates. It shouldn't be trying to regulate the money supply. It shouldn't be doing any of that. But it is. And we accept it as the normal thing that should be happening. The premise of this whole question is wrong. It is being asked with the assumption that the government should be interfering with this country's economy when it shouldn't. That should be the question. When your conservative friends come to you bragging about this number, the first thing you should tell them is the government shouldn't be intruding into the economy in the first place. The only problem is they don't believe in that. Along with the liberals, conservatives just want the government sticking its nose into everyone's life, personal and business. They just want it done in a way with which they agree. Same thing happens on the foreign policy stage. All these people are getting killed in Egypt, and Congress and the president are going back and forth about should we be withholding military aid, should we be withholding governmental aid. And it's like you're missing the point. We shouldn't be giving them any aid at all. Think about this. What is this aid? Where does it come from? It comes from the American taxpayer. Our government is saying it is going to force us, the American taxpayer, to send our money to the people of another country to pay their bills. It's bad enough our country's doing it, or government's doing it within this country, but an outside one, I have to pay the bills for not only other American citizens, but now I have to pay the bills of Egyptians too. And it's not just Egypt. We send foreign aid all around the world, courtesy of the United States taxpayer. Oh, I'm getting frustrated here. We're up on the last break here on the Patrick Regan Show. When we come back, we'll have a couple ideas on how to fix all of this when we come back after this break.